pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. "I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog," he said. Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder, an executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
Eight days after that earth-shattering trial and Cosmo's regaining his memory, we were in the foyer at one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Warlock Hotel. Welcome everyone to the Great Ace Attorney. The finale has begun, as this is the final chapter. Professor Mikataba is due to arrive any moment. Oh yeah, before we do, I did forget to change back to our regular outfits. Such a good loading screen at the town now. Wrong, wrong, wrong. I also am rather joyed we actually got the demasking accolades, even though I did use story mode briefly. I overrid it. Now we're good. Now we need to get the best chips in town. Yes! I'm so glad we got here in time. Susato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew that I was actually the mass murderer of the professor? You mean? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance I'd say, I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikataba knew about Kazuma's going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right, but for some reason, he wasn't at liberty to talk to me right now. That probably means he knows then. Interesting. Ah, there she is! Oh, Father! Hello, Susato. How are you? Very well, thank you. We're delighted you have arrived safe and sound. Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh no, not at all. It's my pleasure. Hell, we've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the theme ships from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? What I feel like though I've seen him before. I take it from your expression you can't quite replace me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Senshiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes. Ah, a firm tap. What? Here we go then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, guilty! I didn't think I'd be saying that line twice from his word, but here we are. Oh, you are... Yes! The court will now hear the trial of Yunosuke Naruhodo. Your Excellency! Yeah. He looks much different now, doesn't he? Hello, Judge Shikoku. How are you? It's been a long time. Oh, good, you remember now. That really did the trick. Guilty! Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at that time. So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. I doubt anyone did, to be honest. That's all thanks to you, isn't it? Says Shiro. How are you talking about, Eugen? Of course, Judge Jikoku. He must complete the set. He's the other man who 16 years ago came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikatsuba. He's the third visiting scholar. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious about your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? I knew you were jealous. Sorry, ministerial status? Yes, did you know? Seshiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on the study tour. Guilty as charged! Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Yes, now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. You did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy. Oh. Huh, that's news. Yes, could you tell us any more about it? Wait, I want to examine this hotel! Look at those cases just left on that trolley. Aren't they worried about thieves? I know I am. Don't worry, he's obviously keeping an eye on everything. Ah, so it's a trap, designed to catch any chance. Yep. Look at that porter! Why did the porter give me such a scathing look just now, do you suppose? He recognizes you! I've been clad in black as some sort of ninja with intent to steal, you know. That desk is known as a hotel reception. Anyone waiting to spend the night to report there has to sign in for their stay. So do you think that's the head clerk behind the desk there? I definitely will admit, this hotel is very convenient for the early 20th century. If the hotel fee was paid through our stipend, I'm afraid it might bankrupt our homeland. Money gives the word expensive a whole new meaning. Look at that! It's a picture of the Crystal Tower. Wrong! The Great Exhibition is one of Britain's most prestigious achievements. No, wait, that is the Crystal Tower? I wonder how tall it is. It really does represent the pinnacle of scientific achievements in so many ways. There's a 20-meter tall chimney on the bath of the emerging at Newman University. A 20-meter tall chimney. The attendant there is always boasting that's the tallest object in the neighborhood. I'm sure. Did you know that over the Channel in Paris, there's a tower that's 300 meters tall? How many times taller than Chimney in Yomei? That's over 300 meters. And Yomei's Silken Hot Springs is that? And if that's tall, how does it drop properly? The smoke would get stuck, surely. I think it's an Eiffel Tower. Which also I thought this picture was. Alright, your journey from Japan. So, how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad when we first came 6 years ago. No, that's true. And I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time, we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience. So you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris? We did, yes, though only for one night. Yesterday evening, we left port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just time for your symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow. Yeah. I'm very proud of you, Father. Thanks to Seshiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to integrate himself to Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited. I suppose you could say it's something I'm apprehended by default. Speaking of yourself, Eugen, you were close friends with the professor of forensic science at the major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that out, really. No, there's no lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Cosmo's father, I suppose. The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Cosmo's father, wasn't he? That's correct. Genshin Asogi. Jensen? I think Gensen? Like, is that like... is it Genshin? Or Jensen?
At how to pronounce the name of all the characters in this free-to-play action role-playing game developed and published by MiHoYo. We are looking for now at how to say the name of the game itself. How do you go about pronouncing it? Genshin Impact.
Okay, it's Genshin. You know, I presume. Father? Yes. Like Genshin Impact. Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. He never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed within little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland. But what about Kazuma? Did he know? He did know the truth about his father. No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts. Why? And you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up as if he were my own son. Then one day, he came to my office at the university and said, I've decided. I want to travel to Great Britain and study there. Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death? I don't know. When I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him. Something else came to light that trial of the day, actually. What? Having disappeared in Hong Kong and being missed for almost a year, Kazuma has since turned up here in London, working as an apprentice of Lord Van Zyk's. What? What? That's news to us! So... Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then. As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father? In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to ascertain what happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive, and he's here in London, you say? I never dared to even dream it. How on earth did the young man not make contact? The gunman police had been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now. Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia. What? Amnesia? When we first came to across him in London, he didn't know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. I wonder how Cosmo's been for the past few years. I mean, for a few days. Would it be wrong for us to go visit him? That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory. Really? It was Yujin here, Genshin Oshogi, and myself. We were the original three. This is definitely quite a surprise! First judicial scholars from Japan travel overseas to study. Abortion voyages were not what they were today. I can tell you that. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yumei University at the time, you know. Young lady. Yes, grandmother told me. He went to research at the Great Lund Hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an airy place, sandwiched between the back of prison and a burial ground. Not more to talk about graves. Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following the autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with the graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. Do you remember what Scottish prison governor? Caden, his name was. He was a good man. Yes. But of course, in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I had known the man for years. I was witness for the secret hearing at the dot. I tried speaking in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say after the trial, we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do there, save Genton. He was a lost cause, sadly. Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like us to get the trunk up my room as soon as possible. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long. I'll call the porter then. Just wait here. Setsusen's gone off at the run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Of course, it must be a big responsibility for representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Naruhodo. I hope you'll keep an eye on Sasato for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been. Oh no, I mean, if anyone is looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being there for her, after all. I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down. What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study here in Britain, you know. A very year Sasato was born. I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life too. Yes, the Sato-san hinted at something like that. It was a rather turbulent time at home. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. It was then that Cicero offered me an opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind, so I prepared what a little heavy-handed when I came persuading you to accompany me in London. So that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as they dare. Although the world does not rarely afford a young woman such things, I must say, I completely understand, Professor. One other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be bold, I have a favor to ask you. Really? Of course. What can I do for you? Well, the thing is, I'm sorry to take you so long. Miss Sato, along with jar number 5 from case 3. And now then, allow us to take your bags. Allow me to take your bags. 1 moment, if you please, porter. Of course, sir. That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe. Oh, right, sir. 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate your wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think, given the occasion, we would just justify the expense. Ah, yes, of course. Like that, thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made my father very happy, I think. Well, I'm pleased then, but we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotabo was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Let's go. I'm getting more and more anxious about Kazuma, though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. They're here. They're gone too. Let's check on the time, man. Oh, Barak's here. He's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. Here's the final address. I think I screwed that up. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for in the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zykes doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say? This place is stifling enough as it is. Huh. My apologies. I didn't notice you came in. Your small stature and dark dress make you a bit invisible to me. What's the dark dress? From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. Or any color that's not black. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo. You just wore navy. I'm right here. Kill me now. Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room with such perfect temperature. It's too hot in here. The beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. It's anxiety. As you know... Alright, as you no doubt aware, my Forensic International Science Symposium begins tomorrow, under your unicorn staff. In fact, your father and I arrived in London earlier today. I hear, madam? Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited. I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands, then. Lord Van Zykes? I will attend at once. He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he? I know, but I haven't done anything, have I? It's been quite a while. These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. The mighty-head right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of the service? Naruhodo, tell me about Dr. Scythe! We arrested her! We got her arrested! I'm This is true. We got his right hand arrested. Fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Sykes' own wrongdoing perpetrated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with any further. That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. Lord Van Zyx is doing an admirable job holding the fort. Though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Oh, missing? What's become of Cosma now? Can I show you this, Lord Strongheart? I mean the Lord Chief Justice. I'm not here to offer you advice of evidence. Oh. Especially when the evidence in question is so dull. Well, that's the real reason. Damn. Yeah, it's still worth it. Not long ago, visitor numbers the greatest commission exceeded 30 million. 30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? Yes, there are. There are 7 billion. As a comparison, Mr. Naruto, the population of the imperial capital Tokyo is 2 million. And the population of India is about 1 billion, if I'm correct. I might be wrong. I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries. It sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations! The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of the forensic investigation techniques. And cooperation between policing and organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why this landmark for a symposium has been hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire, in order Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his quite something. You're every bit as passionate in your own way. I'm sure of that, Mr. Naruto. I'm the only person in the country who truly cares about the future that embraces forensic science. It's my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the yard from the ground up. The disgrace from the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. Damn. I first established the forensic investigation team as a year ago, experimentally, to start with. Without Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily occurring an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to full-blown forensic investigation department. I certainly cannot do that now. Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about the moment. I can't even help the story out of papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will be set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I would say. And intended repercussions at our trial. We simply couldn't have overlooked what happened, though. Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but I won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. About Lord Van Zyx's apprentice. Ah, yes. That came across as a surprise to me, I must say. You and he are old friends. How did you become an apprentice to Lord Van Zyx in the first place? And it came about 3 months ago. An identified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel. Oh my! So he stowed away and got to get here? He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia, too. Other than the fact that he was clearly of Eastern descent, there are no clues to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zyx, and that way I could keep an eye on him. But then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zyx with the tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern appearance. Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask. He's proven to be a great help to Lord Van Zyx. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being. Oh. I take it you also didn't know. That the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Genshin Shogi. What we learned from the trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding our friend's father was, yes, Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused great stir here in the Bryn. There were such awful murders, and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. And no one could have been believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to stay here by the government. The true identity of the killer could be made public then, and it can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London. The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand. Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy in the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so fair few thinkers think London believed anyway. Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? It seems very similar, doesn't it? It's the idea of the Reaper and the Bailey. You couldn't read all those books, even if you were reincarnated 6 times over as a bookworm. Can Lord Strongheart really have read all these? Thinking about it, Father's study's full of... Alright. They saw him coming. I like that. Are they a sign of Lord Strongheart's overwhelming kind-heartedness? I'm not sure you could afford to have a kind heart. If you keep that Lord Van Zykes in line, of course. Could you? I suppose our purpose here is not needed. It's time to argue about the spade again! Please, Mr. Naruto, it's not a spade, it's a think, as you will know. It's a shovel! I didn't take long to reignite that old argument. I have an idea. Let's give the implement a name, like Professor Hybrid named its tools. Oh, I never thought of that. From now on, then, let's call it Ryunosuke. No, it's clearly much more about Susato. I think we need to call it... Suno! That's a perfect name! I'll call you the Suno the Shovel! And you will always be my precious shovel. Suno. I just came up with that now, actually. I see the mask. Yeah. What was that? A man screaming in most unflattering way. Do you think could have been Mr. Sholmes? Oh my, I hope not. I don't do it anymore. Manami. Stop this disgraceful display, eh? Who are these people? Look at their hair. It's bright red. I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Right, you two. You're coming with me now. Down to the clink. No, not in prison. I fucking jump and I don't like it. Both. The darkness, it is my friend. I'm not scared. But you always get in the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot! You will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. I don't like this. I don't like it. Well, tough. We'll finish this down the yard. Now get moving. Bye-bye then, Ginny. Have fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. Thanks. Yeah, you're a great detective. You like how you remind me of the not-so-scooper Skulkin Bros. Ginny makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie, and Bruno. Hello, Iris. We're at home. Well, did you find your daddy? Yes! We arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon. Too bad you never will. I'm sorry. It's a shame you never will. See, Dr. John Watson. Yeah, I'm so sorry. That, Well, on bright side, I'm sure Wrighton Menememo will make a good father for you. Especially for avenging your father's killer. Avenging your father by killing his killer. Dr. John H. Wilson. Oh, so Iris, all that remains is the greatest problem known to the man. Oh, why is your hair red? I believe some tea is in order, don't you, dear my fellows? This is actual real. His hair is red. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Even your eyelashes are red. This is not Photoshop. Your hair is actually red. Bright red. You dyed your hair red. Come along then, everyone. I brewed some lovely special blend. Time for tea. Yeah, again, we also have Iris. Iris, what do we think about? Her hair also looks to be dyed pink because you see her eyelashes are black. Oh god, he took the time to dye his eyelashes. In that case, let us sit and drink now. For I'm in fact expecting grass layers today. His hair is red. This black boy is where Iris scribbles down the latest ideas, isn't it? Let's see. Oh, she seems to have drawn a lot of little stick figures lined up. Look. Cheap apples at the market is what all this say. What? Little figures can speak? All your questions would be answered if only you would read this month's Brands magazine. So I'm the only one who can't make any sense of this. Look at this! The mask Cosmo wore when he was assigned to Lord Zyx as his apprentice. When he cast it aside after trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. So I had to give it back to him, I suppose. Doesn't he? I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me I coldly to wear it myself. Isn't he your best friend? He's not safe from that. I'll dye her black next. Then you'll look like BBC Sherlock. What some people love and some people hate. I've learned that. From HC Barber Guy, or something like that. Who apparently got 7.2 million views on a video called Sherlock is Garbage, and here's why. And then on Google, you see that the view total is 4.9. That's people for you. Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were before? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals. Nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to matters and infractions. They are the mood that takes you? A manner of infractions? But when such fellows at their sights of Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my, you weren't at the target of a crime, Mrs. Sholmes. But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them a young detective's ally. You should have asked Grexy to come too. We could have had some resting tea party. I did that. I sent a word, but no answer was forthcoming. A man is consumedly in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a reward for it, I'm sure. Aha! I have it! A bungler! That's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. Though those redheads have been up to no good. I wonder what the men did. What was that about the greatest problems known to man you mentioned before? Is it another forensic intricate case, Mr. Sholmes? How should I best explain it? Are you aware that the theory of the evolution by natural selection, perchance? Well, I think I've heard it somewhere. Possibly. It's the theory that makes me also question why if I should even have a YouTube channel, and having hope that people will actually become competent in their lives. Or are they just going to be hopeless for all of eternity, no matter what I do? Basically, it means, may the fittest survive. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in treetops. Please don't bring that up. What? Indeed, from the very moment those apes descended to canopy as we live humans, there's been a lot to our mercy that have graced the known problems known to man. Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes? Isn't it obvious? Why? It's not obvious, my dear madam. The problem of a rent! Did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuspo's only the other day? A large sum? One part of her for Iris and her new motor came to me later, and it has quite disappeared, I assure you. A new motor car. Honestly, Hurley, you know you squandered it. Yeah, with a motor car. Yes, well anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to a man's greatest problems, for the coming month at least. What was that answer? Why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes. Don't tell me, let us see. Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what's in. Your sister's going to bring up the word context. And I am going to bring up the word context. Let me give you some assistance. Don't observe me very closely. There's one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think. Yeah! You dyed your hair! In the end, it's been stabbing me both in the eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation. Your hair's blood red. I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruhodo. Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out of this very thread much longer. You really want to investigate Herlock Sholmes? He looks the same without his hair dyed. Hey, Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Over a week ago, you said to us, I'll now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellows. Great detectives are wont to lie. I will serve you well to remember that. That case abandoned was Desesperia in January. Kazuma wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the first time. So what was really going on? A fellow wasn't conscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose was amnesia, as you know now. It was simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in front of the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave them unconscious and have them laid from the ship to Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. Oh, how horrible. It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewman to keep their word, of course. But why? Why did you do it in the first place? I'll be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong. I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Sholmes. You're no kidding! Okay, I'm not missing something, am I? Iris, you're not here. Let's read the newspaper. This looks like last week's edition. What's this article circled in red ink there? It's an advertisement column. It says, to the Red-Headed League. Red-Headed League? What's that? I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but... Sholmes, what did you do? Is something on my face? Something's on your hair. It's... red. I think I know who we have to present this to. Lord Strongheart! Get 4 weeks for each redhead. Can I show you this, Lord Strongheart? I'm the Lord Chief Justice. I'm not here to offer advice about evidence. So he's not behind it. Okay. It looks as though someone circled out an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes. It says the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last you've learnt to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? In the first instance, and quite indispensable, observation. Believe me, I could have seen that red hair with my eyes shut. No, you couldn't. Because then, if your eyes were shut, you couldn't see anything at all. Now that is context! Allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast. So what is this Red-Head League, which was seen to be a subject of the advertisement you circled? Advertisement. You've noticed in the paper, then? That, my dear fellows, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was. How? According to the advertisement, the Red-Head League is a distinguished institution of unfellow's unsuspected governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me. But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. On a conditional salary of £4 a week! £4 a week? But why? What are they paying people for? That I don't know. No details are given to the advertisement. But surely every redhead person in the country would be flocking to join that case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put on my application at once. That's true. Her hair is kind of close to red. It's pink. So will I, just on the off chance. That might be sketching a point, I think. Yeah, Susato's hair is black. They have a fixed number of members, you see. Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck could have it, one member recently passed away. It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes. So you decided to try and join his place? Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such redhead fellow? You dyed your hair red. So why? Why didn't I have to go? Did I have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo. Though it pains me to admit it. What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes? I'm glad you asked, Mr. Sato. What you see atop my hair is neither dyed or hairpiece. I changed color my hair overnight. It's by the wonders of chemistry. Chemistry? Is that why your eyebrows are red? I was conducting some research of a method rejuvenating spent tea leaves. In the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that one was taking. Turns one hair on a flame like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. I think I'll pass. But Mr. Sholmes, it's quite safe to drink. Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? Amateurs are always hampered by such fears. I should never doubt you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say? Well, of course. To unearth 4 pounds for a week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely. So anyway, Harley left full confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street where the Redhead League were interviewing prospective new members. So what went wrong? The whole park was choked with redhead folk, just like the coaster's orange barrow. I queued for 8 hours solid last, which to front. But when the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Harlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which, I could do little else but turn and leave. So then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair of the police. Oh dear, what a disaster. For Hurley and those 2 redheads. Ding-ling-ling-ling. Aha! There's my guest now, my latest client, with money to spend. Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Hurley. At present, we are gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept my case, no matter how intimidating. Save local runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you? Oh dear. I'm afraid that Hurley can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due. Oh, Sholmes, with your Harlock Sholmes, please. Oh, please. Please find my husband. He's run away. Ah, it's juror number 2 from last case. To upset me? I beg your pardon? Never mind, a personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruhodo? I didn't say a word. Come, my dear madam, be seated. Arist, you some tea, if you please. Of course. It's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently. Yes, juror number 2. I'll explain later. My name is Dailey Vigil. Employee that I take case, sir. My name is no object. Simply name your figure. My will offer a low consequence to me, madam. Being offered a case to solve is reward enough. You are the picture of benevolence. I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. Yeah, so don't forget you dye your hair red. If I may inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be... Oh, me? What am I about to tell you? Should I like to communicate in the strictest confidence? You understand? Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, they may stay before this pair... anything what you may say to me. Ah, I see. I can vouch for the gentleman personally. After all, he's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? I guess we can present you this. Mr. Miss Vigil, guys minding your eyes over this? Oh, my poor Dailey. Where have you gone? What's become of you? I'm afraid she's too worried about her husband. Pay any attention, Mr. Naruto. Either that, or she doesn't want to be bothered with me. Right. Forgive me for asking, Mr. Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps? Oh my! Sigh, my dear fellow, what's your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of an English. If you wish to invite a lady to tea, you must do it in some more gentlemanly fashion. Is that possible? That you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week? Ah, I knew I recognized her. To have a man's fate in such palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine. I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now. I must be very difficult for you as a lawyer. Being so hard of hearing, I mean. Pardon? Oh dear, I'm sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery really, nothing more. Now look at what you've started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quiet in the corner. Yes. Tell us something about your husband, madam. Mr. Vigil, my Dailey, is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here. An entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance at least. How long have you been married? It will be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live in quite comfortably. As it would appear. I need only look at you to know these things. Oh gosh! Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes animated. In short, you have no inkling towards why your husband might have disappeared, correct? That's right. He's a kind of man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me. Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other. Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened. Mr. Sholmes, I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred in some miscreant's ill will? What exactly is your husband's line of work? He's a warder at the prison. A guard? That is somewhat unusual. So, your husband is a prison warder. That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder. Indeed? I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialistic occupation. Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out. Yep, another word for executions. And at such time, he must occasionally spend a night or two in prison dormitory. But for extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors. I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged? Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes. Really? Barclay? Oh, fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it. Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery. No! Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court! That's unbelievable! Unbelievable, my dear fellow. And yet undeniable. Sorry, Master Sholmes. I'm afraid you've lost me. Ah, pay no heed, madam. Pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? Tell the matter of your husband's disappearance. When did you realize he was missing? Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday. I'm sorry? Yesterday? That really is recent. Laughably so. Yeah, I thought it would be like 1 week. Which would be even funnier. Which is my husband doesn't have time to have occasion to spend a night away of his work. For his work. It's not all out of the ordinary for him to try not to return home at night. But it's different. For him not to make any contact for a whole day. This has certainly not ever happened before. Oh, my dear Dailey, whatever could have happened? My dear Miss Vigil, please, calm yourself. Now then, I have contacted the police. Why, naturally, but sadly, they refuse to listen to my pleas as my husband is only missing for 1 day. I asked for to wait patiently at home. In truth, Miss Vigil, I must concur with the police. However, let's not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage with my detective powers to track your husband down anyway. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's all really there is to it. May you have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you can mention. You seek only to put this sweet rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. You might be right. Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Miss Vigil. I believe that's all the information I need to begin with my investigation. Oh, please report me with good news, sir. Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with this heartening report, I'm quite sure. So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes. Good news shall be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind to leave a photograph of your husband in my possession? Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door. Can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've simply been marvelous. You know, I think it's every time, Hurley. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two? Are you sure? I can't be sure, of course, but I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. A hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of the day tomorrow. By that time I will successfully locate Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Narhada? Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent. And what did you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you know that? Of course, especially with the mention of Logate Cemetery. Logate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So it was renowned among us students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated. That professor? Genshin Asogi. And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruto. Sorry. Run along the prison and see what you can glean. Would you? It's the prison governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried. Aren't you going to go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly sneak out with this hair! Did you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was quite different matter. So I've leave it in your capable hands. Now if you will excuse me, I'm rather busy. Right. Of course you are. Hilarious, I get that. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely borough ground. Its 4 high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. 1st November, Barclay Prison, governor's office. This place is full of hurrying criminals. I cannot remember the last time a civilian was done here. And you didn't want to talk about an inmate, but to me? Do you know who I am? I'm the governor, Barry Caden. Oh, yes? It's a pleasure. I'm Rinus Naohodo, defense lawyer. And an Easterner, I see. Does that mean... Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. Japan? Did you say Japan? Yes? Well, there you know any kind of you're here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh? I did notice another prison next door, sir. Anyway, we came here to ask... I didn't like to be so direct, but... As I was saying... Wrong button. We did notice the other prison next door, sir. Anyway, came here to ask questions about... I ain't no intention to speak with the likes of you suspicious-looking Easterners. No, can't do it on my hair. So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. That surely means... I think it's because of the professor case. You think so too? 10 years ago, Genshin Asogi, known as the professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then, after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. I might have known! You're sniffing around the boot about this case, aren't ya? You're agents, eh? Part of the professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. We're just... Get on done with ya, before I punch your lights out. We're going. Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not going to get anywhere here. Unless we can somehow prove this maybe that there's nothing suspicious about us. Governor Caden. What are you thinking, Mrs. Hato? I feel that the name came up in a conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering where whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us. Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. Governor Caden, can I at least show you this? How many times can one man turn his back on you in a single conversation? I said, get out! Oh, damn, he is... Darn. I said, oh, damn! Okay! This is Nazgûl from Undertale. He's limiting our options. I'm not thinking I should present this. No luck. Like the fireplace, it's one of those best things I've seen since we arrived in country, in fact. Although I do yearn for a Japanese katatsu. Putting your legs under the warm blanketed table is so comforting. But do be careful, Mr. Naruto. Don't mistakenly put your feet into the fire, will you? You suffer terribly burns, you know. Alright, that is one of being sold as on pornography. A shorty something? Oh yes, this wonderful instrument features the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. It's world famous Stradivarus. What? Stradivarus, Mr. Naruto? Ah, Stradivarus. Are you even trying now? I'll come back to this another time. There's all sorts of these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. All is heaped up so high I can't help feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment. It looks as though it might topple, and yet it doesn't. The epitome of Mr. Sholmes, brilliant. I don't get it. If it happened, I'm quite well practiced when it comes to stacking shelves myself. Heh. Looks as though it might be topple, and does. Yes, the epitome of your disarray. I really don't get it. Let's see if Strongheart can help us out of this jam. Can I show you this? No, he won't help us. Ah, darn. Alright, let's try the hotel. Oh! There's Professor Mikotoba. That's Professor Mikotoba over there. Hello to you two. Taking a moment to catch up on world unpacked. Where's Judge Jikoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He took himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs. Having only just arrived in country today? Goodness, he is full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before about how you'd known the professor and governor at Barclay Prison? Oh, Governor Kaiden, you mean? So it is the same man. Father, we must speak to the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners. Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Would you? That would be wonderful, if you have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable settee. Now, I have rather a lot prepared for tomorrow, you know. Oh, sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikotobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. Or could it be that you, Mr. Naruto, are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts? Let's not follow up now. I have an idea. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when he receives my name, he'll change his tune. Thank you. Good luck then. Okay, now I'm just curious. Okay. Oh, looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Gross, first class cabin, 001. Your column departure 11 September. London arrival, 1st November. Ah, that's the boat Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jikoku came from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it's called the Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Bureau. Seems a shame not to keep by your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yeah, I agree. I have safely my diary. I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, strange. Where could I have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruto? I didn't imagine it, or was it that comment accompanied by a low sigh? Professor Mikotoba has wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me, or does it make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish he at least called you a nice young man. I'm really not sure that would help. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden. What's this then? You cannot put the wool over my eyes, you learn me nothing Japanese, student. Mikotoba? That young jock from the forensic laboratory. That Mikotoba? Yes, exactly, him! Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. Yes, that Yujin Mikotoba. I guess we could also have brought up... Oh darn, he's 51? I just want to look at the... Every daily. I think that's supposed to be every day. Sorry, the age counters surprised me a little. Yes, they definitely did. I'm Yujin Mikotoba's daughter, Susato. James! You're the young man's daughter? And you didn't think I'd mention that before? I do apologize. Aye, well, you best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? And then I forget. Now try one of my Angov biscuits. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. Oh, I'm barely regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now. So then, what can I do for you then? Well, we're currently investigating the case. It's one of our wardeners, you see. He's gone missing. Missing? That's right. And I'm sure it's been reported to you as well, being the prison governor. I've heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison. Oh? But how can that be? Wrong button, I'm sorry. It's Mr. Dailey Vigil, your chief wardener. Your chief warder. Ah, darn, that's hard to say. In fact, I'm actually going to switch my controllers now so I don't accidentally press the Y button on my AGB. Vigil? That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him. Would you be so kind to tell us what you know, sir? Aye, of course. We understand that Mr. Vigil is chief warder here at the prison. Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to his job, no matter what. He was a fine warder. Sorry, did you say was? Aye, he doesn't now work here no more. He left the job. Oh my! When was this exactly? There's a question. Would I have it a boot? I cannot have been much less than 10 years ago now. What? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago? Aye, as I mind it, you know again, and know nothing about the fellow's name in all that time. Not to worry if he's gone missing though. But Mr. Vigil made no mention of it. I think perhaps, Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up on his job here? That's important, is it? Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? Can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago. Which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. So Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of Chief Warder 10 years ago? You're telling us? What happened to make him leave the job? In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. You mean he was dismissed? It was after a particular walk. Sorry, a walk? Aye, that's the word for it here. A walk to the gallows. An execution? It's the job of the Chief Warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only, Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning. What did he do? I'm sorry, but I cannot reveal that information. I can't tell you what, it's very rare for a Chief Warder to be relieved of his post. But why wouldn't Miss Vigil know about it? She appears to under the impression that her husband still works here. I wouldn't know anything about that, I'm afraid. Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal? And what would that be, Hen? That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's? My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm not at liberty to answer that. I see. My father came to Britain all these years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted. The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need their fresh corpses to forensic research. Did you know, Ken? Yes, I can imagine. The advancement of the medical science isn't always particularly palatable. Your father worked in a laboratory just one far side of the graveyard, in the basement of St. Sinner's. It's still used today. St. Sinner's? That's come up before, I'm sure. Yes, that's right. We've been there. Mikotoba and I have to use the carriage together and negotiate terms. For more fresh material, I suppose. Yeah, we used to stay here for hours to gab on the dissection about sorts. Oh, she'd take me back. On a pot of tea and a plate of cup biscuits, of course. How charming. He was a good fellow, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand why you're Japanese. Because of Genshin Asogi, I suppose. Well, I cannot tell you anything else. Thank you so much for your time, Governor. Oh, and one moment after you're away, Anne. I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Ah, found it! Here, take this as a souvenir of your visit to prison. What is it? That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course. Oh my, are you sure? Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original, no mind. Vigil's dismissal notice. Thank you very much, Governor Caden. Well, in return, do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed. Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being. Yes, I agree. We need to report to Mr. Strom what we found about Mr. Vigil. Yeah, what will he tell Mr. Vigil, I wonder? He's not here, but I am curious. Anything here? Ah, look! We have an opportunity here now, while the governor's away. Mr. Naruto, you could be in prison if you were caught. That's a good point. Perhaps not then. Alright, fun fact, nothing is important here. Good. 1st of November. Sholmes is sweet. We're back. Hello, you two. I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones as usual. Ah, so that's what the delicious smell is. Greetings, my dear Your hair is blue now. Sky blue, like the protagonist from that Friday Night Funkin' game. You returned with good detail sooner as I was anticipating. I need to take a photo of this. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Say nothing, your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. It turns out that it may have well been advisable to list my hair color representation tonic before application. Oh my. Pray, tell me, what is our warrior friend? Have you garnered some new information? Oh, yes. Something very surprising, in fact. Though it's not a patch of your hair, to be honest. No, certainly isn't. But still, we discovered that... Sholmes! Drop everything, Sholmes! This is more important! Gina? I can't need it. What's happened? Clearly a very grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever. It's the boss. What do you mean? Inspector Gregson? The boss... He's dead. What? They just found his body. Shot with a pistol. What? But... Inspector Gregson? He was murdered? No, not Gregsy. Come in, my dear girl. Tell us what the whole story. I'm doing a good job on this, aren't I? This is also a good cliffhanger, isn't it?